Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Roz. I am the Education Chair for Friends of Financial Freedom, founded by Darshawn Kendrick. And today we are here with my dear friend, Vivian Villers. Vivian and I are, we say sisters from another mister, and also a part of a very small business mastermind group where we meet monthly to talk about our businesses. And so I just have gotten to know Vivian really, really well, and what a dear she is. And all of the different, honestly, we could do a video a week for the next year and still not tap into fully her knowledge base and her information. But I wanted to introduce her here today. She's a new member of Friends of Financial Freedom, and she is a certified planner and also speaker. So last week I got to attend via Zoom. I got to attend her speech, and man, I mean, just the information, I took so many notes. So with that, Vivian, just introduce yourself a little bit to the community and just tell us just a little bit of how you got into this field, how you've developed your expertise.
Thank you. And I love doing this because we definitely are good friends for many years now. I'm a certified financial planner and an accredited investment fiduciary. I've been in practice as a financial planner for, like over 30 years or a little bit more. And I got into financial planning really through a back door that isn't worth going into at this point. But what happened was I now, even though I do general financial planning, helping people of all ages, plan for retirement, plan to meet their goals, things like that. About 25 years ago, I was teaching a basic financial planning seminar, and I had some parents come to me afterwards, and they had a child who had been injured at the age of 14. And that's what really started me down the path of working with parents who have a child with a disability. I realized that this is a very underserved area in financial planning, and it's very, very tricky to know what to do. I don't do benefits, but I do a lot of the financial planning issues. And actually, although I don't have any children, I have two family members who do have an intellectual developmental disability. So that's how I got started. And there was an event that happened that really increased my my visibility a few years ago.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that amazing how sometimes we'll have an idea of what our trajectory should look like, and then something happens and it alters it, and yet makes it better. It makes it, it makes our passion, our purpose a little more evident. And so you really have leaned into that. I don't know, I really want you to talk to folks about the special needs checklist, and also just some sort of general information for parents. And so whichever direction you want to go in, if one leads to the other, or I would just love for you to talk to us about both of those.
Thanks. One does lead to the other. When I speak to parents, and I speak a lot to groups of parents, maybe a nonprofit that has a parent support group or something like that, some group of parents at a school. When I speak to them, I really have three different, main topics, subject areas. Current planning, long-term planning, and crisis planning. And the current planning I talk about is, to the parents, I go, put your mask on first, your oxygen mask on first. And I think almost everyone can relate to that.
Yes.
What I mean by that is, all too often, I see parents that when they finally do some planning for their child's future and their own, they really neglect looking at their own assets and their financial situation first. And my belief is, you cannot start to plan for your child's future support if you don't know whether you're on track for your financial goals, for your retirement and everything. You can't set aside assets in a special needs trust for your child's support, and then you're stuck and you don't have enough for retirement, and you can't take that money back out of a special needs trust for your own retirement. So I do talk about put your own oxygen mask on first. And then the long-term planning issue is yes, you've got to start planning for where will your child live? How will they be supported financially when either you are no longer able to do that or when you are gone?
Mhm.
And the last thing, which you know is very, very close to my heart, is the crisis plan. And the thing that led me to that, I'd been in practice working with families, special needs families, for over 20 years. And then there was a tragedy that happened in my own family. Several years ago, no
Mhm.
matter how often I tried to tell my sister-in-law that she needed to plan for the future of her son, Stephen. Stephen has severe autism and is nonverbal, and he was already an adult. My sister-in-law, like many, many parents, kept putting it off and putting it off. And that's just the reality and the statistic. And she was killed on the way home from the bank.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was really, really awful. I don't know how else to say it. My nephew Stephen was on his way home from a daycare program on a bus. The house was dark, it was locked. My brother, Stephen's stepfather, was in another state on business. And all of a sudden, I realized that in addition to the usual pieces of planning for a child with a disability, you have to have a crisis plan.
Yeah.
And that's when I created this one-page form that I call the Special Needs Crisis Checklist, that tells first responders that you have a child in your family that you're responsible for that has a disability. And I kept thinking, what happens if Stephen was in the car
Right.
with
Right.
his mother? How do first responders even know that he has a disability or how to
Right.
communicate with him? So that's when I really, really, increased my speaking to try and get the message out to parents that you can be 25 or 45 or 75.
Mhm.
And you've heard me say this, your next crisis is not on your calendar.
That's
You've
right.
got to take action and create a plan. And you do have to have a crisis checklist, which I now offer free every time I speak or I'm talking to a group of parents anywhere, because I think it's that important that you have something.
Do you
It
mind,
was,
Vivian, like when we post this, do you mind going in under the comments and posting a link to that so
I
that folks
will.
can have access to that? That would be amazing.
Yeah,
One of the things that,
I have a special website where you can just go to that website
great,
and
okay,
just ask for that.
great. One of the things that always comes up for me, because as you know, I have a background in working with people with disabilities. And one of the things that always occurs to me is that I've not seen a picture of Stephen, but we've had some family members who have had, evident developmental disabilities. And so if they were in a car, if there was a situation, it would be evident physically to first responders. They're just certain characteristics. But I imagine Stephen presents as if perhaps not having a disability, and then being nonverbal on top of that, he could be really misdiagnosed with a head injury or shock or something that really is just a nature of his disability. So when the parents fill out this checklist, do you tell them, like, put copies in your car, put copies with the doctor, like, how is it in your wallet? Like, what do you, after you fill it out and I'm assuming print it out, then what are the next steps?
I thank you. I spent a lot of time and I even got input from you and some other people to make sure that we put in as much as we could. And on this form, there is a little square and it says, please attach a photo of your child if possible, because so many people that may have some kind of a disability, they don't look, just by looking at them, like someone with Down syndrome is pretty recognizable as a person with a disability, but not everyone who has a disability is immediately recognizable, nor do you know what is their disability.
Right.
And there also could be collateral illnesses such as diabetes or a seizure disorder. So I tried to be as comprehensive as possible. Who should the first responders call? For the person who's in the accident, assuming it was an accident, maybe there was an accident and the person unfortunately died, or maybe there was an accident and they're now unconscious in the hospital. Who to call to help that person. All the information about the individual with the disability, including any medication, their doctors, how to communicate with them.
Mhm.
Some people, maybe they're deaf and they communicate with sign language, or
Yep.
maybe their primary language could be Korean or
Mhm.
something like that. And so I put all that there, including a list of people that could be called to step in and either speak on behalf of this person with a disability or be there to provide some kind of support and care. And yes, it's a one-page form. And the reason I ask people to email me with the request is because it's fillable, it's PDF fillable. And then you can put it in your glove compartment, you can put it in your purse or your wallet, keep another copy at home so family members know. Please, I tell people, please don't just take a picture of it and put it in your phone and that's the only place it's found, because your phone could go flying out the window or be destroyed in some kind of a crisis like that.
Yeah.
So yes, I just think that this happened to me, and because of the failure to plan, my family lived through horrible, horrible chaos. Not only because of this crisis that happened where there was a death, a
Right.
car accident
Exactly.
and a death. But the other thing is, I know how hard it is for parents of a child with a disability to just manage their day-to-day life, their job, their family, their finances, other siblings, and then and try and be there for their child with a disability if they live in the home. And then you ask them to start planning, and that seems to be the last thing they want to do, or
Mm.
they're overwhelmed and don't know where to start. So it doesn't get done. And it's just been my mission after what happened in my family to try and get parents to understand, no matter how old or how young you are, the time to take action, just to begin, is
Yes.
urgent,
Yeah.
urgent.
Now, there are about 2,500 members in this group, and we are, as far as I know, nationwide. We may be international. I'm not sure because I don't obviously know every member. But I know you had talked about kind of a big dream, kind of a, big plan. And so I'm wondering if anybody who sees this video, maybe they can help you bring that to fruition. And you were talking about having it tie into some sort of national database, like maybe like the bracelets or
Well, here's
something like
the
that.
point. Let me say this first. I have clients all over the country.
Okay.
And even though I'm here in Illinois, and heaven knows that, if there's anybody who wants me to come down to the Atlanta, Georgia area to come in person, I'm
Yes.
there. Not
Yes.
only do I have you, but I have family who lives outside of Atlanta, and I love that part of the country. So yes, and with Zoom, you saw me speak last week to a group out west, and it was all done virtual. My ultimate goal is to try and have some kind of national database so that first responders know there's a situation. I spoke with a man several years ago when I served on the board of the ARC of Illinois, which is a advocate for people with disabilities. And he was the parent of a son who was high functioning autism. And some state in New England has like a dot on the windshield of
Oh,
a car, but it was only in the state.
wow.
So my ultimate goal is to try and figure out how to have some kind of a national database with, the information there, sort of like a medical alert, if you will. So if
Yeah.
somebody has some idea or some connection, please, feel free to contact me so we can move forward and make this a long-term reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Viv, as always, it's a delight to spend time with you. Thank you for being so generous to share your time and your expertise with Friends of Financial Freedom. And as I said, once this gets posted, you can go in and post your information. But also, Viv, as a new member of the group, we want a lot of posting. We want a lot of engagement. We want folks sharing information and expertise. And so please, as these free webinars come up, or these other things that you're sharing in terms of financial planning, please put them there so that we can advertise there as well. So,
and let me say this, we did talk about it, and I'll post in the comments how to get a copy of my special needs crisis checklist that I created. And also, I will put in the comments my website address.
great.
So people can go to my website, which is a different address, to find out more about me, or contact me if you want me to speak to your group about what they need to do and the things that you need to know about when you are doing financial planning and you've got a child with a disability. For example, I speak to people about the fact that there are some problems if you leave your IRA to the special needs trust for your child. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but because primarily that's what you want to do. But if you're going to leave an IRA, there's some issues you need to be aware of. So I'll put my website address in there, as well as the link to request a special needs crisis checklist. If someone wants to work individually, please feel free to reach out to me. Or if you want me to come and speak to your group, either virtually or in person, if it's a warm climate and it's in the winter, because I live near Chicago, I'm on a plane and I'm there.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining our group. Thank you for participating in this interview and letting folks get to know you a little bit better. And I personally get to see you next week. So for that, I am.
That's right. We've seen each other a lot on Zoom meetings in the last week, and you were very gracious to attend my presentation to a group of women entrepreneurs who have children with disabilities. And now we're going to get our mastermind's going to do its annual get together in person. So I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for inviting me to this group. I'm very excited to be part of it. I didn't know it even existed. So I'm excited to continue to be part of it, and to hopefully be of service to its members and offer some insights and help. I've been a financial advisor for over 30 years. So I've learned a few things along the way, even outside the special needs arena.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you in the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.